One thing with Caitlin Clark, and this alone, it's kind of incredible to think about it and look at how she continues to perform on the court. Now we can make a long list of things, right? We can look about some of the issues she has with teammates or teammates have with her. Stephanie White as her coach and the constant belittling and attacks and refusal to praise Caitlin Clark. Not playing Caitlin Clark in a system that plays to her strengths. Teammates that don't get open, that don't move off the ball, that don't make layups. So many, just the weight of the entire league on her shoulder. I mean, she's the whole reason the CBA is what it is. So, I mean, there's the incredible, I was gonna say normal expectations. I mean, they're not normal, but you know what I mean, the incredible, what we'll call normal expectations for a generational superstar for a franchise. And then, of course, you multiply that to an entire league, and then all these other things I mentioned, and that doesn't even include the thing that may be weighing on her the most that we just don't talk about very much, if at all. Maybe we kinda talk about it a little bit with the way that Stephanie White treats Caitlin Clark from what we see, but think about all the things that we've heard about this league and the things that we don't see, right? Caitlin Clark is experiencing this 24/7. What is happening behind the scenes, right? I mean, I think the maybe the most well-known example, but far from the only one, is, of course, Candace Wiggins, who talked about being bullied right out of the league and have talked about all the abuse that she faced simply for not being part of the letter mob, right? And it included, for those who get upset about Caitlin Clark's reaction as a competitor to the officiating, it included the officiating. And unfortunately, I started this and I don't have access to it, but I did. I think I did it in a video last year, at least briefly, and mentioned it when we're talking about Caitlin Clark and free throws. Right, Candace Wiggins, her first 2 or 3 seasons. I mean, she was one of the league leaders in free throws being shot. Right, I mean, she was shooting, I think, like 6, 7, 8, 9 free throws a game, and then the rest of her career, I think she ended up playing 8 seasons. She shot fewer than one attempt. One, I mean, this is a player who went from shooting 7, 8, 9 free throws per game as an average to fewer than one free throw. That is not normal, folks. That is not normal. That does not happen without a coordinated effort between the league and the officiating. I'm going to have to get those numbers before I put this thing all together and put it up. Hopefully, fingers crossed, I remember, and I'll put a screenshot on here of the numbers that I'm talking about so you can see exactly what I mean, because it is kind of wild. By the way, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for being here as always. Truly appreciate all your support. Shout out to the 19. Do me a quick favor, like, comment, subscribe. As you know, only thing that keeps the channel going. So think about everything we've heard, right? Candace Wiggins. You've got Kelsey Plum. We've heard a little bit about how bad it was for Kelsey Plum. Can you imagine? I mean, think about that clip we saw, what the NCAA game when they were watching UConn, and we got to hear Asia Wilson belittling Kelsey Plum, talking about how she's not really any good. She's just there because of her white privilege. Right? Can you imagine what was going on behind the scenes? Again, Kelsey Plum comes into the league for the WNBA. She was a pretty well-known superstar, right? Maybe not to, but in that ecosystem, I mean, she didn't really cross over like Caitlin Clark, but once again, not part of the letter mob, attractive, not very tan woman who can ball. Hey, man, people forget sometimes, thanks to Caitlin Clark, that Kelsey Plum entered the WNBA as the NCAA all-time scoring leader. Sabrina Ionescu, another big name. We heard a lot about how bad it was for Sabrina Ionescu, and some people would say, hey, you know what? Caitlin Clark coming into the league might have actually saved Sabrina Ionescu's career because all of that kind of got redirected to Caitlin Clark. Now, do you just to give you an example of because of the officiating, some of the glimpses that we get, do y'all remember this? People who want to go after Caitlin Clark love to talk about her crash outs and attack her for that. And oh, it's not helping, and she's immature, and this and that. And again, you can only imagine the frustration that she feels. And again, people like Jordan, Kobe, I mean, a lot of superstars, LeBron, have gone after officials hard during games. Here's Caitlin Clark, as calm as can be, having a conversation with a referee, which, by the way, correct me if I'm wrong, have we seen this guy do a Fever game this season? I'm just curious. Um, so maybe there is a little bit of a blessing in disguise, but check this out, right? Very look at her. She's I want to back it up. Sorry, I know, but she's as calm as can be, having a conversation, and watch this. And then boom, wait, so what? And she is pissed, man. Look at that. She went from 0 to 100 to having to be held back. For what? What exactly did this think about that? You want to talk about behavior and being inappropriate. Caitlin Clark is being calm, collected, talking reasonably, having a conversation with the officials, as a lot of people like to say. And she went from that to basically, I'm going to rip your head out, rip your head off, and relieve myself down your neck. Right? They're very, 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 very calm. And then boom, we have no idea what he said. Never have seen another angle. And she is heated. She is over the top. Like I said, 0 to 100. So again, you can only imagine the kind of stuff that she has to deal with even on the court, right? And I'm not even talking about on the court because I think we caught a glimpse of some of the off the court stuff thanks to Sid Colson. And look at Caitlin's reaction, right? And she's like, no, 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 not doing that. And this is live, right? This was the live after the win of the Commissioner Cup. And a lot of people want to poo poo this. I don't know, maybe because they're both women, but can you imagine if this was a guy? And by the way, Sydney Colson prefers women. So really, how is it any different? This is SA, folks. And y'all might want to poo poo it, and that's fine. You have that right. But that doesn't change the fact that this is actually a big deal. You could see by Caitlin Clark's reaction, this is completely unwanted. And keep in mind, this is a league known for this. This is a league known for doing this sort of thing. We need to talk about all the women who switched up when they got to the WNBA. Do we need to talk about the women who have made comments like Dejanay Carrington about how she actually prefers men, but for some reason she's dating Melissa Smith? I think you had is it Natasha Cloud? Because I think she's, I believe, dating Isabel Harrison right now. Maybe it was someone else that was dating Isabel, where people were saying the same thing. It just happened to be dating that woman, but actually prefers men. So again, though, an example of what goes on. Stephanie White, ha happily married to a man. She was drafted when she was drafted, and I forget the name now, but I mean she was drafted under her husband's name. Married to a white male, now with a black woman after getting to the WNBA. It is absolutely insane. Candace Parker has a kid. Why? Because she was married to a dude. So again, what is Caitlin Clark dealing with behind the scenes, right? All the stuff that we hear glimpses of and see results of, but don't really know exactly what it is. But you've got to imagine from everything we have heard and what we do know, it has to be pretty bad. It has to be pretty intense. I can't imagine the stuff she has to deal with 24/7 from this league, and she still goes out and balls. Stuff needs this entire league, and again, that's one of the reasons they hate the fact that Caitlin Clark brought all of these eyeballs who are here for sport. Because what do they call it? Sunlight's the best disinfectant, right? They don't want the disinfectant around. They don't want to have the layers pulled back and for people to see what goes on in this league. They are terrified that we're going to get to the core, the very rotten core, the abusive core of the WNBA, and they do not want that at all. Man, I feel bad for this woman. Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Like, comment, subscribe. Y'all know the drill. I will talk to you later.